Before I get started, first thing first, the day happened to be February 20th, 2000 and so-called 2018. Independent. So first thing first, Islam to all the Moors, Islam, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, peace. We're gonna get this started right now. Got me some E and J. Narrator back at you once again. This is all my peoples up in the Chi-Town, particularly on the south side. If you're looking at this video, I don't need to tell you who this man is. And he still hold major weight down there on the south side of Chicago. And I'm going to just put it to you that way. My Moes know what I'm talking about. Today happens to be the solar return, born day, the born day and solar return of one. The government name is Jeff Fort, but we call him Chief Malik-El, founder and co-founder of what was formerly known as the Blackstone Rangers, then became the almighty Black Peacestone Nation, and then to the El-Rukns. Now, as me growing up, coming up in the 70s, way down here in Miami, Florida, we knew all about them. And I'm going to tell you something. Jeff Fort, Chief Malik, I'm sorry, let me call him by his natural name, not by his government name, because he's not an artificial person, he's a real person. And yes, he is a political prisoner, just like Larry Hoover is, King Larry. Shout out to praises, give out the King Larry Hoover. Happy solar return, belated solar returns to him too, from November. And now since we enter the birthday period of Pisces, and this is a water sign like myself, so therefore I can truly relate. Jeff Fort, let me just give you a brief history of. Jeff Fort was born in Aberdeen, in the corporation known as the city of Aberdeen in the territory of Mississippi. And just like most other Moors who were down there, migrated up north to what is now known as Chicago during the 1950s, 1960s, and started settling in on the south side, where whites were settled back in the south side of Chicago, and they took off and moved up on the north side of Chicago. That was the infamous white flight. Now, the thing with the creation of how the Blackstone Rangers came about, it's a phenomenon. Some people say Bobby Rush. I'm quoting Bobby Rush. Bobby Rush said that the Blackstone Rangers was a phenomenon and a tragedy at the same time. I don't know about all that. But I do know this. Before you had the Crips, before you had the Bloods, you had these guys. And this was right after the era from the 1920s of Al Capone and all these other guys that y'all know about, y'all truly know about. But these are just one of the few pictures that I got of Jeff Fort that I do have. Here's another one right here. This was one where he was standing before the U.S. Senate committee mishandling the funds. But before we got there, how they came up with the name Blackstone Ranger, because they stayed up on a street called Blackstone, and it was him and another cat named Bull. Bull was like, is his namesake. Bull Harrison. That's his name. Yeah. And then you had Jeff Ford. The phenomenon, what they was about was like, that hey, you had this little guy who was the youngest of his siblings, could control grown men like the way Jeff did. Bull was always the one that want to settle things through violence. But Chief Malik, who went by the nickname Angel, they called him Angel because he was so diplomatic. He was always there to smooth things out. But they have a lot of influence on the South Side, and they became like the Blackstone Rangers. They're so they because like they formed a little tight knit group together. Now keep in mind they had a rivalry going on with the Black Disciples, which was led, of course, by David Barksdale. And, of course, you had the Gangster Disciples, which was also led, of course, by Larry Hoover. You know. Now, were there rivalry? Sort of like that. But their main thing on the south side of Chicago, southeast side or southwest side, was like they were supposed to protect. They protected the neighborhood, they protected the women, they protected the children. They did all this. You know what I'm saying? Because at those times in Chicago on the south side, there wasn't no type of resources, man. They were blocked. A lot of stuff was blocked off of everything for them. Like sanitation duties, no jobs, no nothing like that. And then that's when you had the marauding gangs come around too. And their thing was they protected the neighborhood against that. Now you got idiots from the Chicago PD. I've seen the documentaries on it. You have some so-called Russian Jew and retired cop and some other coon was talking about calling them terrorists, calling them this. Shoot. And we all know that the terrorists are nothing more than the highwaymen who was basically talking about it. But shortly thereafter, people don't want to talk about the positive things that Jeff Fort them did. Like in 1968, when Martin Luther King was assassinated, and you had riots that broke out in every inner city across the United States. It was relatively calm on the south side of Chicago because the reason why one of the highwaymen, retired highwaymen, he said he credited Jeff Fort for that. He credited Chief for that because Chief made sure no businesses, none of them would not get broken into or whatever like that. Wouldn't be no riots, no nothing like that. Now they were a power to be dealt with. A power so much it even got the attention of faggot ass J. Edgar Hoover, Gay Edgar Hoover, who was a mulatto anyway. Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, he was a Moor, but he hated himself so doggone much of what he, since he was birthed, because that's why he could never stand to see a quote unquote black person with a white person, so per se. I hate using these terms. That he basically tried to stir up a war through a letter between the Blackstone Rangers and of course the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party, which came about later on in '68, something around there, led of course by Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton, we all know, one of my heroes, charismatic leader of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party. And we lucky that it never took place. It never took place. Because that Fred Hampton and the Panthers were linking up with Jeff Fort and the Rangers, and that scared J. Edgar Hoover. just like as much as it was with Malcolm X linking up with Martin Luther King, because they ain't wanted that. But when Fred Hampton got assassinated, yeah, he was assassinated, set up by that coon, that sellout, William O'Neill, the, you know, who was a CI COINTELPRO agent who drugged Fred Hampton's drink along with Ryan Clark. They have Chicago PD bust down the door at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning and pop up for the lead. And at Fred Hampton's funeral, Jeff Fort came, showed up there. I think he had like maybe over 100 to 200 Blackstone Rangers there. And he told them not to utter not one word, just pay their respects in silence. Bobby Rush, who was there at Fred Hampton's funeral, even stood up and said, that was power. And he said, man, that made me proud as a quote unquote black man. Stand up. But at the same time, you listen to the police, you let the media tell you they're supposed to be a gang, right? They're supposed to be a gang, but yet though they were protecting the neighborhood, they protecting all this. But they want to tell you the bad part about them and stuff. Like how they created a center in Lawndale, that's the Vice Lords. Shoot, I'm sorry. Memory kind of jog, I'm just waking up. Right in their area where they created a center so that way children can have something to go there so they can train for jobs, so they can go ahead and apply for applications and stuff like that. And that was pretty much great. They were teaching them a trade, teaching them a skill. You tell me, what gangs do that? What gangs do that? They're looking out for the welfare of the children in their community. But they supposed to be a gang though, right? They supposed to be a gang. This was a grant that the government had gave Jeff Fort them. Yeah. I know that made the police up to Chicago PD. But yeah, it had to make them upset because the fact of the matter, because they know they can't profit off of it. Typical highwaymen. But shortly thereafter, Jeff Fort, Jeff Fort, let me just see if I can pull up another picture of him. I think I had one with him with Jesse Jackson in there. Yeah, because the thing about it, you have so many different sects. So they went from that, and they united other smaller gangs. I hate to say gangs, I say nations in the 70s, and they became what you see here, the almighty Black Peace Stone Nation. Still see they have the pyramid right here. You still see they had a star, but they had like 21 crews up under them, which was a government body. Each stone represent the head of that government body, with the Blackstone Rangers being the top of the pyramid. That was the group, the council of the nation called the Main 21. Now, anybody knows who the Main 21, they would know who that is. Now, you say they're a gang. Now, look at this picture right here. These guys are disciplined, and Jeff Fort had them organized and disciplined. Plus, on top of that, he's a Pisces, so he knows how to network. So he knew how to network. Jeff Fort wasn't no dummy. You know what I'm saying? People think like, okay, because he didn't finish school or whatever like that, but he wasn't stupid. He ran that thing like a Fortune 500 company. I mean, look how they standing in unison. I'm saying these brothers weren't playing. They didn't play the radio, man. They didn't play the radio. Excuse me one second. Sorry about that. They didn't play the radio whatsoever, man. Sure. Let me show you another one. Same one. But I need to try to find it like that. Let me just give me 1 minute. Okay. That's a courtesy of the History Channel. You know, there was Jesse Jackson sitting right there. See, the fix was already in as far as I'm concerned because Jesse Jackson, Messy Jesse, was trying to convert Jeff Ford and being a Christian and all that stuff. So, you know, he wanted a piece of pie. Now, keep in mind now, Jesse Jackson, I've said this for years, and I'm going to keep on saying this. Jesse Jackson is an agent, man. Straight up agent. You know? Shout out to Steve Coakley. Shoot. Before everybody started doing that Black Panther with your forearms crossed, I was doing that in honor of Steve Coakley, who's also from Chicago. Happy belated solar returns to him. One of my master teachers. But Jeff Ford had ended up going to jail, was arrested for the misuse of inappropriation of funds, allegedly. You know, and he went to jail just for that. Now, when he left and he got out, now he went from where you see him at here to, let me just jump off in here real quick. I don't see it. Got it? Seeing what you got right now. Now he was just like skinny as my pinky thumb. But you know, Jeff Ford came out of there. He was a changed man. You know, not just changed physically in nature, in size, in stature, but still the same way. But he came across and was, you know, and learned across about with Islam and stuff, you know, and started studying about with the Moors, about Moorish science. So when he got out, he went on ahead and he joined the Moorish Science Temple. People don't know nothing about that, and he went on ahead and did that. So it went from be called the Almighty Black Peace Stone Nation to changing the name to the El-Rukns. You know, because look what you have right here. You know, same posture, every one of them, you know, feet, you could tell he's standing straight, feet 90-degree angle and all that. I'm going to tell you how serious this was and stuff. Because look at the brother right here. You see him wearing a fez. Now, the brother that you're seeing here, I forgot his name was Mickey something. But he was head of the Mickey Cobras that, well, you already know what happened. My daddy got knocked off. Let me tell you something. You know, so when I see these little wannabe little thug, you guys, young cats that get out here calling yourselves thugs and goons and stuff like that, nah, you wouldn't be able to hold a candle to these brothers. Okay, you wouldn't be able to hold a candle to these brothers. They were real serious about that, you know. But yet, though, at the same time, they were still related to call a gang though. But how they were a gang and they were cleaning up the neighborhood. They were cleaning up the community, you know. Because one thing Jeff Fort, people tend to forget about and they don't talk about, it's like how when in the 80s, late 80s, when crack became an economic boom on the drug trade and it spread it like wildfire. Crack never touched the south side of Chicago. Jeff Fort kept that shit out of them. He kept it up out of them. I'm going to show you some more pictures. This is one of my most infamous ones. It's me paying a tribute to Jeff Fort, just like I did with Tookie Williams. Now look at that right there. It's supposed to be a gang, right? You know, they're Moors. The El-Rukns, they're Moors, man. Gathering at the temple for a meeting, Sunday school, you name it, like them. All of them dressed up in fezzes. Okay, now look at this. I got more. I got more. Now they standing right there in unison. Standing right there in unison. You know what I'm saying? Organized, discipline. But they supposed to be a gang, right? And no gang does this. Jeff Fort taught all these men their nationality. He taught them their birthright. He taught them that they were Moorish Americans. You know, that we didn't come over here on slave ships. We was always indigenous here to the Americas. North, South, and Central America. This is Morocco, whether y'all want to know it or not. But to the average dum-dums that want to call themselves Negroes, colors, blacks, African American, Afro American, and Afro Latinos, and all this stuff, shoot, you want to refer to the United States as a country. The United States is a corporation. A corporation who basically did amity and commerce on our land. No, but what happened? You know, you want to chase behind the European. You want to go ahead and honor your ancestors, then honor your mother and father. That's why we failed. And you know what I'm saying? And that's when they came up with the Christian codes, the Negro codes, the color of law, the term, the brands, Negro, black, colored, African American, Afro American, like Pepsi, McDonald's, and Walmart. You know, but they supposed to be a gang, though. Yeah, right. Sure. You know, but they were announced on Savior's Day. 88, Farrakhan came into the picture then. And Savior's Day. And that time, I think Farrakhan had got like, had gotten acquired $3 million legally, by the way, from Gaddafi, from Muammar Gaddafi. And they brought it out here to the States. It's supposed to be trying to clean up everything to be an economic boom now. I still ask this question to this day. What happened to the $3 million? And I think we see why. And also, Farrakhan talked to Gaddafi via satellite, talking about pointing to Jeff Fort, them saying that these guys, these are my angels of death. You know, because, you know, Farrakhan kind of buffing himself this way because he didn't want to be gone like get taken out same way what happened with Malcolm. You know, I've always had my reservations about Lewis Silas. Great orator. Don't get me wrong. Great orator. He speaks some shit. He speaks some real shit. You know, sometimes it be BS, sometimes it be real. But I'm not gonna knock him. But you know, and so what happened was the story as it goes on, that I think some of them went to Libya or they met with a Libyan diplomat or something like that. saying about them getting a rocket launcher and that one of the Alphabet boys put a homing device, a tracer on there, and allegedly they were going to commit domestic acts of terror and stuff. And then that's next thing you know, the feds come there, shut it down. Jeff Fort was still in jail at that time. And they commit, refer to Jeff Fort as being the first domestic terrorist and all that, which he isn't, allegedly, which he's not. But they supposed to be a gang, right? They supposed to be terrorists. You got homegrown terrorists right here, and I'm just not talking about the ones in the white sheets. This man's supposed to be a terrorist, right? That brother that's supposed to be a terrorist, which he's not. Because my thing is about the whole thing, and I ask myself this: shoot, throughout all this, how come he had to go down, and how come Farrakhan is still walking around? Somebody, please in the comment sections, clear that up, clarify that for me, because that shit don't make no damn sense. Chief Malik-El is still locked down over at ADX Supermax. He's there. Hoover's there. Brother Supreme is there. All of them is there. And see, here's something else here too. Let me just get something right quick. Now, look at the logos here. Now, you still got the pyramid here, Almighty Black Peace Stone. Still got the startup, and still got the pyramid there. That was then. Then it came to the El-Rukns. Still got the pyramid there, incorporated there. You got the 5-pointed green star, arm, leg, arm, leg, arm, head, which is Allah. Allah and man are one. And you got the Shemitah right there. That got justice inscribed in the bar there. You got LTPF, love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, the Shemitah. Sun in the background, sunrise background. And then you got the gateways, North Gate, South Gate, West Gate, East Gate. Everything they incorporated more side, even El. Spiritual guide, same thing. Everything is incorporated right there. The symbol is still up. You can even look right here. You got the pyramid right there. Main 21 stacks. Crescent moon star, mother and child. Circle 7 right there. Facing east. Same thing. Everything's still laying there right there. But I don't know if I'm sorry that I butchered it up or anything of that sort. Didn't mean to. So, excuse me if my history thing on this a little bit more spotty or whatever like that. Because I've been ripping and running all day. But I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to do this right. And I wanted to go ahead and pay homage and pay honors to Chief Malik-El on his happy solar return. If he's watching this or he get wind of this, happy solar returns, Chief Malik-El. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Y'all share, subscribe, make sure you click the notification bell so when I upload new videos, I subscribe it. I know some people still want me to do the thing that happened in Parkland right here in my backyard. I still got my breakdown of the Black Panther and my thoughts on it. And I'm gonna do like breakdown on it symbolically and how it relates to us as Moors, not as Negroes, colors, and blacks and all that. Because I've been staying off social media for a while, but I've been seeing, well, with the exception of Instagram, but I've been seeing all the memes, all this stuff, and the pictures, everybody, you know, dressed in African garb. Nothing wrong with that because they do it for Star Wars. But nonetheless, um, I've seen some people just want to go ahead and just make a mockery of it. The whole thing, I'm gonna save all that for them. Okay, I'm not gonna tell everything as much as I want to. But with that said, though, um, Islam to the of all the Moors, all the active Moors, Islam to the unconscious Moors, Islam to the dirty Moors. We know who you are. You know, especially No Name, the one in Baltimore, the dirty Moors. Yeah. With that said, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. No more talk. Peace and love.